Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the January. I was going to say December, uh, December live stream, but this is the January live stream. Happy New Year! This is the first time in the new year, 2017. Um, yeah. So, what should I talk about today? Um, Let me think about this here. I had a lot of questions about equipment in some of the videos, so I have some of my camera gear around me. So maybe I'll try talking about that. Also, it's a really different time. Like it's 10 o'clock at night. I actually fell asleep, so if I seem a little incoherent, that's why. I'm just waking up again. Even though it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm usually awake at this time. But I don't know. I was out during the day and actually dozed off reading a book. But I'm up again. So hopefully it'll work out. Oh hey, hello from Europe. Yeah, I wanted to have different time zones so I can get people from different areas of the world. So that's cool to see. Where from Europe are you from? Um, and this is the camera I film on. This is the Sony A7S II. It doesn't say it there, but this is the 7S II. And the reason I got this camera is because it's 4K, but actually I didn't get the camera for the 4K, so that's a lie. I got it for the low light and for the dynamic range. A dynamic range means how bright it gets, or if the image is really bright and the image is really dark, this camera can capture more of that image in the picture without making it absolutely black or absolute white. So I feel it gives a more realistic look to the images I capture. But 4K, I started shooting 4K, and I just love the detail they can get with 4K. So that's why I really like this camera. And this lens is quite big, so it's a small camera when you take off the lens. See, it's quite small, and the lens kind of weighs about just as much as the camera. But still, it's a fairly lightweight camera for the quality you can get. Oh, Germany, that's cool. You're from Poland but live in Germany. Okay, nice, nice. It always amazes me how well people from different countries in Europe speak English. It's so impressive, so impressive. Um, so with that camera on the Tokyo by Train video, this is the stabilizer I used. It's the Zoom Crane. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but here I think if I look here, you can see how it's spelled or spelled. Oh, that's not really focusing in really well. If I cover my face, it'll focus on that. It doesn't really say, but it's I don't know. You can look it up. ZHIYUN, then Crane. And so you carry this, and it's not on right now. And actually, I have the bottom handle is missing. It goes like this. There you go, and the camera would go on here, and you could just stabilize it. So it's a pretty small rig for what it can do. When you put the camera on top. And the cool thing about this is I find you can get, well, it stabilizes the image first of all, but then if you're moving from like hair to hair and trying to get shots all over the place, when you're handheld, all that movement kind of destroys the shot. It doesn't look so good. But when you have this device here, this image stabilizer, it makes the shot usable. So you end up with a lot more usable footage when you're filming. And the other neat thing is that when the camera's actually on here, and maybe I'll just put it on to show you, or maybe not, because I have to turn on the battery and stabilize and all that stuff. But when the camera is on it like this and you're holding it, people don't think you're filming necessarily, especially if you're not looking down at the camera. So you can just be walking along normally and people won't notice you're filming. Not like I want to do some bad stuff when I'm filming, but you just don't get, it gets more natural reactions from people if you don't look like you're filming. And people don't stare at you so much. And if you're walking around, not so obvious, because if I'm like at a train station and I'm like this, checking out, people really know I'm filming, and then they're like, "Oh, what is he filming?" Not that it's illegal or anything, but just you attract more attention that way. But if you're just walking around with this, people are like, "Oh, he's just going from one place to another, and he's going to use his camera somewhere else." Anyways, that's what I filmed on for Tokyo by Train video, for the Walk in Asakusa video, and the housing video too. I was on a bicycle carrying that around and filmed a lot of those moving shots. Yeah, the Japan Trains video wasn't shaken at all. I mean, it shook a little bit. Like I can tell when it goes up and down. I'm still learning how to use the device, but overall, I thought it went pretty well. So hey, fire away with some questions. Got a couple of viewers on right now. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them, and I'll try to answer as best I can. And until I see some, questions, I'll just talk about maybe the housing video. So yeah, this one I put the housing video where I talk about how an average person or an average family in Japan can afford a new home. That one I decided to put on the X, or not on the X channel. I put on the main channel, and the reason I did that was because the views, you could just tell, you get so many more views on the main channel, and I put in, I don't know, maybe 80 or maybe more hours of work, 100 hours of work into the video. I mean, you'd like to reach the widest audience as possible. So even though I think it's a video that really fits more for adults and kids wouldn't watch it, I thought that people on the channel would still enjoy it. And yeah, people did watch it, and now it has like almost like 250,000 views within a week. So I think it was the right decision to put it on the main channel. So I think that's probably what I'll try out for the next little bit, is anything that's fairly produced, I'll put on the main channel. Anything that's more behind the scenes or these live streams, and stuff that's not as polished, I'll put on the X channel and see how people respond. But so far, it's worked out okay. In comparison, the Tokyo by Train video, that one, it's got maybe about 60,000 views, and it's on the X channel. And that's a good amount of views. There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, I think if it was on the main channel, it would at least gotten double the amount of views. And when you make videos, it's always nice to have more people watching. If the only thing you have to do is put it on to a different channel and do nothing else. So for no effort, get at least double the views. Sure, okay, put it on the main channel as long as nobody cares. How am I today? I am quite sleepy right now. I'm very, very tired, because I don't usually fall asleep so early, like 9 o'clock or 8:30 or whenever I dozed off. I'm usually up until about 11 o'clock. So just a little sleepy, but I'm feeling otherwise okay, because some of my work that I've done, my online work that I do that's not video related, I got some of that stuff done, so I can work on some more of the housing videos. Oh, it's 2 p.m. in Germany. Okay, that's cool. Lunchtime, or past lunchtime, I guess. So yeah, I can work on more housing videos, and I have so many videos that I can create about housing. One that would be talking about how we're going to, or how the demolition of housing works, or how there's this myth around that houses in Japan only last 30 years. So I want to kind of break down the reasons why that's true or why that's not true, and how that's kind of maybe changing nowadays, right, with homes that are built nowadays. So I'll talk about that in a new video, and talk about just what you do with land, and what makes, why do people it's hard, sorry, my brain's not working so well, but if you look around, if you saw the video, they have farmland right within the city of Tokyo. And that kind of surprised me when I first came here, because I thought it would be all quite just packed with buildings. But they actually have farmland in between houses, and then there's high rises next to it. And so you get quite this mix. And why do people leave this land to farm when they could put a house on it? Because I think people would pay more for houses. So that's kind of to do with the tax structure. And so I'll talk about that in another video. And we have a couple home tours. We'll do a tour of this home, which is bought about a year ago. So kind of a fully furnished new home in Japan, and then I have a tour with a real estate agent of a couple or a few new homes, but that are unfurnished at the point. So you can kind of see them when they're empty and how they look. Um, and then I'll probably do another video, probably on the X channel, about just the kind of how you buy a house. So like getting the financing and kind of the cost of I want to say cost of living for a house, but like how much it costs to maintain a house. So has some cost of living things in there, like the utilities you would pay, the interest rates, and some of those things that you'd go into owning a new home, and actually the equipment that you have to buy when you get into a new home. So you have to buy air conditioners and slash heaters, blinds and curtains, lights. There's a whole bunch of like standard things you'd have to buy when you go into a new home that they don't come with usually. Okay, so here's a question. So how is it with movement? Is it really so good organized when you move into a new home? Oh, yeah, the moving there, I can only compare Canada because that's the only movement I've seen. And Canada, I think it's quite usual if you have friends and family to ask them to help you move. So that's essentially what I've always done. I must have dealt with some moving companies, but Japanese movers are such great service. So if you witness other Japanese service in other industries or other areas, then you might be able to imagine how good the service is with the movers. But how the process worked is you can get quotes from movers, and you get different quotes, and you can either go full service where they come in and they pack all the boxes for you, or they could come drop off a whole bunch of empty cardboard boxes and you fill them up. So that's the approach that we took to save a bit of money. And so they came, we packed all the things we could into those boxes, but some bigger items like the fridge, our tables and stuff, they would pack those up and wrap those up themselves. And they came with a whole bunch of if you ever go painting, I don't know if you know the term drop cloth, but it's a fairly like a heavy type of cloth, or foam padding. Maybe in service elevators, when you see them put them up in service elevators, these kind of padding protect the elevator, stuff like that. So they'd wrap that around like the washing machine and the fridge and tables and stuff like that, and they'd come in and move that. And when they went into our house, they would put these mats on the floor and take off their shoes, and they would put all the like around places that they might hit. They would put this corrugated plastic against the walls so they wouldn't bang up the walls. So I thought they were very organized and quite efficient in moving everything. Nice guys that were doing it too. And I think one part of our stairway, the stairs got nicked. A really tiny nick, and if I was in Canada, I wouldn't even say anything. But my wife's like, no, like the movers cover this. So called them up and they're like, okay, and they came in and they repaired the stairway where they had this little nick. It was tiny, so it was not a big deal. So a lot of care is taken with the movement when you're moving into a new home. Okay, let me just talk about some of the other documentaries that I have in the works. So all of these things I'm going to talk about, I actually have footage already shot, and some of it I have everything shot that I want to shoot, and some of them I still need to gather some more footage. But one is that I think I'm ready to go with, I just have to edit it, is Becoming Japanese. And I interview someone who's naturalized. So they gave up their American citizenship and they became officially Japanese. So that was a very interesting gentleman to interview. And he runs a site about it as well. So he knows a lot, and he talks to people from many different countries with many different experiences. So you're not just getting, just one dude who has become Japanese. You're getting to talk to somebody who deals with many, many people who become Japanese, kind of get a broader view of things and how it works. I was surprised at how easy or relatively easy it is to become Japanese. I thought it would have been a lot harder. because you hear stories how it's impossible or near impossible to become Japanese. And I always believed that until I found out about this guy. So I think that'll be very enlightening for people who don't know how the whole citizenship process works. I would probably go as far as to say is that it feels to me that becoming Japanese is easier than becoming Canadian. Um, so I think that'll be quite interesting to put out. I think the interview footage shot is like over an hour long. I just don't know how long it's going to be. And I don't know when I'll release it. It might be in a couple months. I'm not too sure because I'm working on some other projects. And one of them is I went to a childcare center and did a tour. So this think from like anywhere from 1, 2 years old to about 5 or 6 years old. So before you officially get into elementary school. And that was really cool to see, to get kind of an inside look at it. So that one is more of a tour video than a whole explanation about how the system works. Um, so I've been kind of trying to decide how do I want to present the footage. Do I want to try to make it all into one video or present two videos? So we'll see how that works out. Um, then I've been filming interviews for working in Japan. So I've filmed a couple of them already and have a few more lined up in the coming weeks. And I think this one's going to be quite a long process to make the videos. Or I might have several videos and they might be staggered how they come out. So the first video I'm fairly sure will be on women working in Japan, because it just happened that I was able to line up women off the bat. So I'll pretty much focus in on that. And working in Japan is something I feel like I have to really make sure I do my research on when I'm looking at the stats and just looking at the laws. I feel like it could be quite a controversial subject. What I could say from the outset, though, is, and about most things in Japan, is it seems like things are getting better. So if you hear stories about, crazy work conditions in Japan, I think it was worse 20, 30 years ago than it is now. But I still think there are some things that for people in Western countries, they would think, oh, like I would never want to work in those conditions, right? So I still think there are places like that, but you can I feel you can see the attitudes change into what people want and what companies are doing. So it's a very interesting topic, and there's so many things to cover in that. And then I have the homeless videos where I filmed interviews with a couple uh, academics about the homeless situation. And that one I was kind of waiting on to see if I can film some people who are living homeless, so kind of get like the everyday life of a homeless person and interview them. I think that'll be, I would eventually like to do it, but it seems a bit difficult to do right now. So I might just kind of do the academic view of homelessness in Japan and kind of take that approach and present that. And then later on, I will kind of do the day in the life homeless if I can, right? Because I would just like to talk to the people on the streets and get what their life is like. And I think that's kind of the outlook for I guess the mini doc type of projects I'm working on at the moment. I'm sure I have a whole list of them, so I haven't run out of ideas whatsoever for them. And I think those ideas and all those videos, that'll last for like probably half a year's worth of videos I have for the mini docs. So definitely a lot in the works. Yeah. Now, do I plan to do a video about school and healthcare systems? Actually, yeah, healthcare might be something I do sooner than later as well. So I have some connections to healthcare, and I'd really like to cover that. I think healthcare and probably safety as well. Those are two areas that I definitely want to cover, and social housing. It's just a matter of getting the right access. So I might start doing research on that sooner than later. School system, I guess I do have the childcare centers, which is quite related to the school system, because a lot of things the kids learn there carry through to the elementary school system. But school system, I haven't officially got anything in, elementaries or the junior high or the high school systems or the middle school systems, and I would love to. I think there's so many interesting aspects to it, from the physical education programs, to the lunch programs, to just cleaning up the schools, like the everyday discipline that's used in schools, homework, even extracurricular activities. They're kind of the more arts and culture things they do are in the schools, from like art class, music, home economics type stuff, field trips. There's and the JUCO system, so that's like cram schools. So there's so many great aspects to it. I kind of feel like I need to get a school to say like, yeah, you can come in every month and film different things and get permission from that. So it might have to be a private school that is able to do it easier. In the public school system, just with the bureaucracy and getting permission, it feels like it's a pretty tough thing. So one thing I've been waiting with is actually I can have a few of these mini documentary videos out so I can show a portfolio before I officially approach, because I don't think I'll have too many chances of approaching people and getting rejected. So I want to have a variety of topics that I can present, and so they can kind of see the style of videos that I'm making and kind of build up that trust. So I've been waiting on officially asking any school systems yet. And yeah, I have two kids in the system, but I don't want to do my kids' schools for privacy reasons. Not to say that my kids can't talk about their school experience, or going to a school and present the school, but it wouldn't be in the school that my kids go to. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the projects I have on the go. What other type of questions do we have here? And I think I'll do a few more questions, and then I'll probably open up to the public like I've done in the past, because that seems to be nice to have a little more of an intimate chat where you can get your questions answered if you're a Patreon supporter, and then kind of open up to the public, and whoever's out there can answer. Oh, something else I brought with my camera gear is when I'm out in public, and I don't want to bring too much attention, I will kind of have the camera like this. I mean, it's still a pretty, nice camera, big camera, but it brings less attention. But see, this is the audio that I use. And then right when you put that on, people think, oh, it's a professional. And kind of find that annoying, because I mean, it is professional audio or semi-professional audio. But like, I really like shooting with the audio on all the time, because it's so much better to have this audio than to use the microphones that are just like these little tiny microphones in here. They don't do a good job at all. So this big fuzzy here is for wind protection. But when I want to kind of go simpler, I use this camera setup, and that's kind of with the fuzzies taken off to protect from wind, and that's what it looks like. So it's a lot smaller, but people still think this looks pretty professional. So yeah, when I'm shooting public places where I don't need the audio as much, I might take off this audio portion. Oh, the mic is bigger than the camera itself. Yeah, it's the same kind of size, really. The weight, it weighs a little bit too, that microphone. How is it for you? Is it better, easier to live in Japan or Canada? That's a pretty good question, and I would say life is easier in general in Japan. For my specific situation, I don't think that would be the same for everyone. So there's a very personal thing that I can answer, that it's easier to live in Japan. One is that I enjoy a carless lifestyle. I mean, I don't mind having a car, but I don't really miss it as well. And I think I've always been that case, where if I can ride somewhere on my bike or walk somewhere, or take public transit, I prefer doing that. And actually, when I started driving again, after a year of not driving in Japan when I first moved over here. It was really weird to drive, and it felt very scary actually because everything's going so fast. Now I try to drive about once a month in Japan to kind of keep up my skills, and I'm not so scared about anymore about driving in Japan or when I go back to Canada to drive in Canada. Um, but I guess this is something I'll talk about in like make dedicated videos about. But I like the walkability of the cities that you can walk to your grocery store, walk to the parks, walk to the train stations to go to other areas. Like we went to Ebisu today to go to a museum, and so I just had to hop on the train to go to the museum. And the day before, we went to a science museum in I believe it was in Chiyoda, and that's kind of in the center of Tokyo. And again, we hopped on a train there and took like a I don't know 30-minute ride or so, or 40-minute ride over to there. Um, and you can go to these museums. They cost like either free for the kids or they're like equivalent like $3 for the kids to go to, and adults were like $7 or $10 for the adults. So it's quite affordable. Like the train ride costs more than actually the entrance to museums. But because we don't own a car, transportation costs are lower in general. Um, so, oh, another big thing because I have kids is that, um, and it's fairly walking friendly. It's friendly for people walking and for kids running around. I don't have to watch them when they're out playing on the streets. So they can actually play on the streets in front of the house, or they ride their bikes and they go play with their friends. And so it's kind of like how it was back in Canada 20, 30 years ago when I was growing up, where the kids were just kind of running around the neighborhood. And when you want to play with another kid, they just physically come to your house and ring your doorbell and hey, like, is Aiko or Shin free to play? And that's what they go do, and they go play in the parks. And so I find that really nice. You don't have to set up play dates unless you're doing some special event or something like that. Kids just come and go as they please. So I really enjoy that part of it from a parent's perspective. All right, let's try making this broadcast public to everyone now. So let me edit this and see if this works out. Unlisted to public, publish. All right, so I've just made this live stream public. So let's see if we get some more viewers. And this is part of the Patreon live stream for people who are new to this. And that's for people who are supporting the mini documentaries. I do kind of a private live chat where they can get answer questions and get them answered. So I did that for about half an hour, and now I've made it public for about the last half hour. So hey, and sorry, I don't broadcast these ones in public because they're for Patreon supporters, but it's always nice to have some other people asking questions. So sorry I don't broadcast this, but if you do want to make sure you get notified of these live streams, then support on Patreon. But it's about 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. over here, and there's no sun in front of me because I have a window over here, so it's a bit dark. So maybe next time I have to put a camera light or something over here so I don't look as dark. And I'm a bit tired, so if I sound incoherent, that's the why. But yeah, fire away. If you guys have questions, please fire away, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. I was just previously showing off my my camera and talking about how I film with it. Is Shin sleeping? He should be. Everyone should be sleeping in another room. So this is my bedroom and my wife's bedroom. So we sleep here, and then the kids should be in a few bedrooms back that way. And since I'm in here, my wife's sleeping over in the kids' bedroom tonight. Yep. Let's see. So this is, by the way, the stabilizer that I use. So it's actually very lightweight. I don't know if it looks lightweight for, on the webcam here, but I don't know how much it weighs, like 500 grams or something, or maybe less. I have to look at the stats, but it's, yeah, fairly lightweight. So that's what I use to stabilize. I go around. How do I get motivated to do what I do? Um, I'm curious, so I want to know how things work, and I start doing research on them, and I just want to show people and kind of share what I learned. And I think when I first started making videos about Japan, I guess from a Canadian perspective, everything was so different, so new and unique to me, like just the everyday little things from, the washroom or the kitchen or how the living room looks or the food that's eaten. So I just want to show those things to other people around the world and other families and kids. And when you get comments and people watching, it really motivates you to make more videos. And so I've done a lot of the simple videos, but then you start thinking about, okay, why are things the way they are, and try to look deeper into subjects. So that's why I started doing these, mini documentaries about like what housing is like in Japan, or what it's like to have a disability in Japan, or what it's like working in Japan. What's the healthcare like? So topics that you need to do more research, but I find the answers to them quite interesting. And I don't always think everything is better in Japan, but I do think just kind of sharing what I find with the rest of the world, um, just sharing the knowledge. Hopefully, you can maybe some other people in other world like, hey, this gives me an idea. I could try this in my country, and maybe people in other country, comment and say, this is how we do it in our country, and then that's something I can say like, oh, that'd be really cool if we can bring that to Japan. So kind of that's what motivates me, is just there's so many topics when you think about, how you do things in a country and what works and what doesn't. I mean, it feels kind of endless. And I've been making videos for a couple of years now, and I still feel like I have so many years worth of topics left to cover. Okay. Hello from down under. Hey, how's it going? I think Australia is a place I want to go visit. And there's another question. Do you plan to travel around the world? I kind of gave up on traveling around the world when I had kids, because it's expensive and tough to do. But before that, I always wanted to travel to many different countries, and I feel like I'm kind of getting that spark again, where I do want to visit other countries. So, geez, where was I looking up just the other day? Uh, it's not the Gambia. It's another, I think it's another G word, or G country in Africa. If somebody knows where I'm talking about, let me know. It's above South Africa. I don't know if it's directly above, or it might be one or two countries above South Africa, but actually I'm going to Google this, or go on the Google Maps and see the country. But I think it'd be really cool to go to an African country, a country in Africa, maybe in the sub-Saharan part of Africa, and no, not with a G. Sorry, it's I think I'm talking about Botswana. Oh, maybe the capital. Oh, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's Gaborone or Gaborone or Gaborone. Botswana. Yeah, Botswana looks like a fairly I guess easy entry point to go to Africa and check out. So I think it'd be really cool to like find a family in Botswana that would let me kind of, or show me their everyday life. I can go there and film a little series. So who knows, maybe later on in the year I can make it out to Africa and do something like that. But I think it'd be really cool to, I mean, I get viewer submitted videos, but it'd be kind of cool too to go, physically to those countries and kind of see everyday life in other places. So yes, I would love to travel around the world, but I have no plans at this point. Question: you love Japan, but you're very tired of earthquakes or tsunamis and it seems scary. Yeah, I mean, I was concerned. My mother was actually way more concerned about earthquakes and tsunamis, so I had to do a little bit of research when I first came over to tell her, okay, it's not. Or we do things. There are things done in Japan to kind of help minimize the risk. But the risk for earthquakes is indeed high in many areas of Japan, and in Tokyo too. There's supposed to be a big earthquake in the next 30 years. I think you'd have to look at the stats for real, but I think there's like a 70% chance of a huge earthquake in the next 30 years in the Tokyo region or in the Kanto region. Um, and how do you prepare? Well, we're actually going to do a video on it, but one thing is um, earthquake kits. So we have water supplies and food supplies and blankets and like flashlights and other safety items, medical kits. We have something prepared on our first floor with all the equipment in there. We also have a gas burner as well, to boil water or to make food. Um, and there's every year they have a evacuation kind of our emergency drill for earthquakes and natural disasters that the kids go through. There's actually maps of like all the kind of gathering points around the city in case of disaster. And there's actually a booklet and a website made by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government about what to do in a disaster. So people prepare for earthquakes. Everyday people plus the authorities prepare and volunteer groups, and so there's quite a lot of preparation. So I feel if I'm going to experience an earthquake, Japan is the place to be because people know how to handle an earthquake. They're prepared for it. But of course, the risk is very high for an earthquake as well. But where we used to live in Vancouver, there's supposed to be a big earthquake as well happening in Vancouver. And I don't think I could say the same thing where I feel that we're prepared in Vancouver for an earthquake. Yeah, I think it'll be a big mess in Vancouver when it does happen someday. Um, Tsunami in Tokyo, I don't think it's a big concern just because of how the is basin is the right word, but like for the ocean, like how it's mm, how the land is, under the water right before you get to Tokyo. It's not very conducive for having big tsunamis, so that shouldn't be a big concern in Tokyo. Now, oh, here's some other people joined, and Rockshot Nero was commenting, hey. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. It's almost been 2 years now. I'm really surprised how long we've been doing this for. Will I ever live in Canada again, or have I decided to stay in Japan? Will you, or will we? Um, I'm assuming you mean us. Will we ever live in Canada again? And I don't know. I don't know. We own a house in Japan, but uh, it doesn't mean we'll always be in Japan. I think we're just playing it by kind of seeing how it goes, and we'll see how the kids' education goes and the English goes and whatnot. So we're definitely ready to be mobile and move if we need be, but I definitely think we always want to own this house in Japan. We wouldn't sell it if we move, and it's kind of a tough thing because we really love Canadian culture and language and the family and friends, and the same could be said for Japan. So I don't think we prefer one country over another. So um, yeah, we might find ourselves back in Canada sometime one day. Yeah. Oh, you meant to say I decided to stay in Japan. Oh, okay. Netherlands, Zambia. Oh, he guessing the Zambia. Where is Zambia? Zambia. I'm Namibia. I really need to study map of Africa. Oh, Zambia. Well, that's pretty close to Botswana. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know how if I think though, actually I was wondering if I traveled to Africa if I'd go to different countries or not. But even from my experience of in Tokyo, I don't think I would try to visit many different countries. I think I'd just try to stick to one and maybe just a certain area. Because I find when you try to visit so much, um, you're just spending so much time traveling and not really experiencing. So I'd like to just kind of stay in one place and try to experience as much as possible and not travel around too much. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Netherlands. Hey, from Netherlands. Hey, did you see the video about was it about America first? Was it the Netherlands second? The Dutch second? I like that video. That was pretty funny. Um, yeah, Northern Lights in Finland. Yeah, I think I would like. You know what? I saw a video of Finland, and I thought, wow, the scenery looks so much like Canada. So it's quite interesting. Um, and I believe you have saunas in Finland. I don't know how you pronounce it. Sauna. I would really love to try that out, especially the ones where you can like jump in the ocean afterwards. That'd be pretty. I'd like to do that. Oh, many terror attacks in Botswana. Yeah, that's why my wife is so worried about going to any place in Africa. So I did some research and I tried to pick like the country that seems to be one of the safest in terms of, well, safest in terms of safety, safest country. And Botswana seemed to be a fairly good choice by a lot of people, is what they were saying. But yeah, that's one thing that I worry about traveling is that I don't like haggling. I don't like worrying about things getting stolen. I like to trust everyone, and I feel like I'd be a big sucker, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is that if people were taking advantage of me, I wouldn't know. And I'm lulled into this false sense of security being in Japan, where I think generally most people are not like out to like scam you. So I think I would get scammed a lot in countries where that's more prevalent. So or prevalent. So I think I'd really like to meet some people who live in the country that kind of like tour guide me around a bit. Um, Brazil and Hong Kong. Okay, cool, cool. All over the world. And Haya from, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I can't hear anybody's pronunciations, but Curacao. Curacao. Where is that? Okay, I'm gonna look at my Google map and see where that is. Curacao. It's South Africa, but it's island. Oh, it's not South Africa. Sorry, it's oh, South America. That's where I thought I thought it was kind of like around the Caribbean, West Indies place. Okay, cool. I used to play this game, this Pirates game. I probably visited that island in one of the Pirates game and raided it or something, or plundered it back in the days. Build a bug out bag. Bug out bag. Oh, you mean in case of like nuclear disaster or something really going wrong? Oh, we have a natural disaster bag. Um, Toilets around the world. Oh, we don't have any toilets around the world video shot by anybody, so I don't think we're having a toilets around the video coming out. No, we have a breakfast around the world and we have celebrations around the world, and I've been meaning to edit those videos. I have all the footage, but I've been so focused on the housing stuff. So I kind of feel like I have to just get all the housing thing out of my mind and out of the computer system, all the footage, and trying to just release, because I have several housing videos, and get those done. And then I'm going to go to those community videos and whatnot. Do I look forward to moving back to America sometimes? Or do you want to tend to stay in Japan longer you live there? Are you truly turning Japanese? Well, if you say America, as in, I guess the Americas, North America, Canada, I go back to Canada at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. So I don't feel like I really miss it that much because I get to see my family and then I talk to my family on the phone or on Skype. And I read up with news around the world and videos and everything like that. So I don't feel like I really miss Canada that much. Um, but I really do love both cultures, and I love a lot of things that happen in Canada, and a lot of things Canadians stand for. So I'm definitely a proud Canadian, I would say. And it'd be nice to go back for certain things though too. That besides family and friends and whatnot, like I miss going snowboarding. I used to go every winter, so I miss snowboarding or doing the hiking around Vancouver, and some of the more natural outdoorsy things. You can do that kind of stuff in Japan too, though. But I feel I guess I have brothers over there that I can go do stuff with quite easily, and it's you know, on the West Coast, it's pretty. There's a lot of people in the culture of doing outdoor activities. So I plan to make a video about feminism in Japan. Well, maybe indirectly. I'm doing about working in Japan as a female or as a woman, and I guess that'll cover some feminism topics. So I would say, yeah. But how deep am I going to get into it? Probably not so deep. I just don't know enough at this point. Yeah. How hard was learning Japanese for me? Uh, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and I still suck at it really bad. Um, yeah, out of all the things I've ever learned, languages is the one of the hardest things for me to study academically, and I don't know, I'm pretty horrible at it, and it's a constant struggle to try and study Japanese all the time. So it's hard for me. I know for some people they pick it up more naturally, or maybe they're just more into it than I am, but it's always kind of like on the last thing on my priority list. Although I've been trying to make it high on my priority list because I think it's something that I need to do. I need to get better. I feel very guilty about the level of Japanese I have, having lived here for almost 4 years now. I feel like I should be way better than I am. So I'm quite embarrassed about my level. Um, so yeah, it's tough. Toronto and Germany. Hello. Um, Sweden. Fukuoka. Cool. Some people from Japan. Nice. I want to visit Fukuoka in Japan. Like, I want to visit all of Japan too. So I want to visit around the world. I also want to visit all of Japan, and yeah, Fukuoka seems pretty cool. So I definitely wanted to go there when I get a chance. Let's see here. Geez, there's lots of questions. Brazil. Do I listen to K-pop? Not regularly. I'll watch some videos because I find them quite entertaining from time to time. But no, I'm not a regular K-pop listener. Do your kids enjoy making the videos as much as they enjoy watching them? I think they enjoy watching them more than they like making them in general. Because they'll watch their videos several times and they'll go back to old ones and kind of like get memories from them. Making them, since they're not scripted and stuff, it's more like, if you think about how you make home videos, if you have kids, you're making home videos with your kids, it's kind of more like that. They're just doing stuff and I just happen to whip out the camera and make some videos. I think it's changing though, actually, where Shin didn't really like making videos so much when, you know, a couple years ago when I started filming. And so that's why, big reason why you didn't see him in a lot of the earlier videos. He just, you know, rather play a video game or, I don't know, do something else. And whereas Aiko really loved presenting to the camera, she really loved doing that. And now it's kind of switched where Aiko's a little more, I'd say, camera shy or cautious with the camera, and Shin really wants to make videos. So I'll be making actually a kind of a Yokai Watch gaming video with him pretty soon. So yeah, the kids are changing. England, cool. You're going to Tokyo and Nagasaki in March. Anything you should worry about? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything you have to worry about. Malaysia, cool. Netherlands second, yeah, nice. I think Italy, all over the world. We get tons of people. That's cool. Seems like the kids are fluent Japanese. The kids, I would like to say they're pretty much native level of Japanese. Maybe kanji, they're a little bit behind, but I think now they're pretty much native level Japanese. English, I think they're starting to fall behind a bit. So got to work on their English skills. But yeah, I think they're pretty okay Japanese wise. Just keep your things in front of you. Just keep your things in front of you as well as keep your things in line of sight. Oh, this is from Sakura Kinomoto. What advice is this for? Oh, maybe for traveling around the world? Yeah, I guess when you're traveling, you just gotta be a little more careful. But in Japan, I mean, I travel around with, gear, and this gear costs like the body is about, I'll just say US dollars, like 3,000 US. Like, this whole thing's like 5,000 US. And I walk around this in the middle of the night in Japan. I have no worries whatsoever. Never have any people that I think might even try to take this from me. So that's kind of what I'm used to. So I think I have to, yeah, change that if I'm going to different countries, be a little more careful, and I might have to get use a different type of camera too. Maybe like a pocket camera that's not so showy as this the one I just showed. Um, the bug out bag will be housing all the things you listed, earthquake and such. Okay, that's what it's for. Okay, bug out bag. Do I plan on teaching the kids a third language? Not at this point, no. Um, I don't think a lot of people know that I actually used to speak fluent French because all my schooling was in French. And so Japanese is actually my third language, but because I haven't used for 20 years, I'm pretty horrible at it now as well. So I suck at Japanese, I suck at French, and I can speak English. But no, I don't think the kids a third language at this point. I just want to make sure that they're natively fluent in English. That's the big concern at this moment. Philippines, New Zealand, Morocco, cool. Uh, do I have time where you generally start streaming? No, I don't, I say. And for the streaming, um, why people, I think a lot of people miss the streaming is because I only let they're really for people who support the mini documentaries on Patreon, right? Who, do like a monthly contribution. And it's just kind of a way to reward them for supporting because I mean, it's so nice that they're, giving money to me every month just to be able to work on these mini documentaries. So it's a way to say thanks. But it's also nice to have a lot more people in on the live stream as well. So I don't say when the stream will happen, but if people happen to be around, then yeah, come and join. It's cool. So that's kind of how I cut it off. Um, let's see here, Slovakia. Cool. And I'm glad you like the housing stuff. How much Japanese do I know? I'll probably repeat this several times. I know some Japanese basic stuff to get by, but I'm pretty horrible at it. If people talk to me like really basic Japanese, like if I was a 5-year-old or something, I could probably do okay in the conversation. But if they talk at I don't know, an adult level, they'd lose me pretty fast. So yeah. How do consumer prices in Canada differ from Japan's? I'll probably be doing a video on this, like cost of living and everyday life things. It really depends on what area you get into. Um, in general, I would like to say that Canada is cheaper on many things, but the amount of stuff you use in Canada is more, so it ends up like equaling out. But energy is definitely cheaper in Canada by far, no doubt. But restaurants, even out in Japan, is cheaper than in Canada. Um, transportation, that's hard because Canada's mostly by car, and Japan, like at least in the big cities, public transportation is a big thing. Um, but yeah, I'll be doing a video trying to compare different aspects about that. What's my favorite country? I didn't answer this. I mean, my two favorite countries are the countries that I live in, Japan and Canada, but I haven't traveled to too many other countries around the world. When I was a kid, I went to get family in Great Britain, so in England and Scotland. So I naturally like those countries, and we visited France as well. And we've went to Bahamas when I was really young, like 10 years, 8 years old, 10 years old, Bahamas, and visited the States. I think that's about all the countries I've visited. So for world travelers, that's not many countries. I know a lot of people in the world, that's a lot of countries. Some people don't even get to get out of their own country. So um, yeah, but I like to go to other countries. But I was never interested in Japan growing up, and it's only when I met my wife, and she happened to be Japanese, that I visited Japan and really fell in love with the people and the culture and the country and how everything works around here. I really do like Japan. Oh, Curacao. Yeah, in the Caribbean, and they mainly speak Papiamento. Okay, hmm, interesting. Fairly hot, no winter, but nice beaches. Nice. Georgia. Yeah, healthcare in Japan. I'll be doing that. Georgia, like Atlanta, Georgia in the States, or Georgia? Is there not a country Georgia as well, right? I mean, unless I'm just let me. I'm gonna do Google Map on Georgia and see what this pulls up. Because is there not? My Google Maps only pulling up Georgia, United States. So I'll assume it's Georgia, United States. But there must be. Somebody please tell me. There's got to be another. Something sounds like Georgia. Uh, country like that. Is the Roppongi safe? You're going to Tokyo. Um, I mean, I've walked around at night in Roppongi too. Roppongi kind of feels different than a lot of Tokyo, and certain areas like the bar scene areas. I think as long as you're not going into shady looking bars or following people into bars that you don't know that are telling you to come into bars, I think you'll be pretty okay. I've never had an issue, but it feels very in certain areas of Roppongi, it feels very different than from a lot of other areas in Japan that I've been to. England, Korea. Oh, cool. That's nice. Norway, Czech Republic, Taiwanese and Czech Republic with Japanese girlfriend. Very international. Okay, let's see here. Tokyo. You visited Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima, Kokura, Beppu from New Zealand. Nice, nice. Uh, yeah, the camera does cost a lot. Some people ask, "Do you make a lot of money making videos?" I'm like, "Yeah, it goes into equipment." But the nice thing is now that I have this camera, I don't feel the need, and lenses too. I don't think I have to invest a lot of money in equipment anymore. So I have a lot of the expensive equipment covered now, so that's nice. When I travel to India, yeah, I think India. I don't know if I'm going to go there anytime soon. I think it'd be really interesting to visit. I would like to. I mean, I would like to visit as many countries as I could, but um, yeah, I think if I had a local around there, that's probably be the change in. If I had a local around India to show me around, I think that's when I would visit. I don't think I'd go there kind of on my own though. Um, for the camera straps, why did I take them off? Oh, because when you have it on the stabilizer, the camera straps kind of throw it off. So that's why I took off the camera straps. Um, and they have these little things here, and they make noise. So I taped them over so they wouldn't make noise. Oh, you speak French too, and English. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad I learned how to speak French. I think that was cool. And I think if I went, to a French-speaking country, I went to France. I think if I was there for a few months, I think I would um, kind of relearn it uh, in okay time fashion, and I'd be way better at French than Japanese. But right now, when I think about speaking in French, all these Japanese words come to my mind. I don't know if people who speak many languages have the same type of issue, but I try to construct sentences in French, and yeah, Japanese words just keep on popping in all the time, so it's really weird. Uh, do Japanese people have pets? Yeah, yeah, Japanese people have pets. Dogs and cats are quite popular in Japan. Um, do Shin and Aiko want a pet? Yes, they would love to have a cat, but both my wife and I are um, allergic to cats. We're not severely allergic, but it's not recommended that we have cats, so we haven't gotten a cat. Scotland, we're part Scottish, so hello. India, hello from India, hello. Uh, lag, those lots of lag. Oh, sorry, that sucks. The stream is a slideshow. Yeah, I don't think there's any way I can fix that now. That's too bad about the lag. But hopefully, is the audio at least okay? If the audio is solid, at least that's all right. Dutch, French, and a little bit English. China. Oh, that's cool. I don't see people from China. So are you using a like a VPN to get through? 1 frame per third seconds. Lots of Insta GIF. All right, so lots of laggy out here. Okay. I'm trying to scroll through the comments. Restart the stream to fix the lag, please. I'm kind of ending the stream really soon. Hmm. Let's see, USA, Georgia. Okay. Were you and the kids on TV about the cooking show? Yeah, we were, but I think in Japan it went on New Year's Day, but internationally I haven't seen it go live yet. So um, if I find out, I'll let people know, maybe on Twitter or Facebook, but I don't think so. Yeah, the problem is if I stop the broadcast, then I have to restart. I just can't. I don't know if I can just turn off the camera and turn it off again. Maybe that'll work. Let me try. Off. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down the comments and see if that fixed it, because maybe that helped. Because on this screen here, my camera looks kind of okay now. I just don't want to break up the stream because then I'll have multiple public videos out there. But yeah, if somebody can let me know. Oh, that worked. Cool. Okay. Well, now I know for next time. I'm still learning. This is like, I don't know, the only fourth or fifth live stream that I've done. So I'm really noob to this whole live streaming thing. I'm making my way through the questions very slowly. Now I'm making my way back up. Oh, Georgia by the Black Sea, former USSR. Okay, so I was right. There is like, yeah, country area, Georgia, that's not in America. Do Japanese treat foreigners the same as their own? I think that really depends on who you ask. I feel like when I talk to people in Japanese, they just talk back to me in Japanese. I don't feel really different, but I think that might be also a condition of I don't know enough Japanese to realize how they're treating me differently. But I don't feel weird or anything like that. So, yeah. But for people who, I mean, people obviously know I'm not Japanese. So I don't think it's like I can hide that I'm not Japanese at all. Have you read or heard about the Finnish school system? How would it compare to Japanese? I believe I've read about Finnish school system, if it's the correct country, because sometimes I get Scandinavian countries mixed up. I don't even know, maybe Scandinavian's the wrong word to use, but you know, like Swedish and Finnish and Norwegian countries. So maybe it's the Finnish school system I did read about, and it seemed pretty. I liked a lot of what I read about how it's. I don't think there's a lot of homework issued, and so I'm kind of more of that approach. I like. I feel like you want to teach the kids how to learn and give them a love for learning, and that way, even when they're not in school, they'll still continue to learn. So I'm kind of down with that, and that's maybe kind of funny that the kids are in the Japanese school system where it feels like you're learning for the test a lot more than perhaps like in Finland, if I'm remembering the country correctly, the one that I read about the education system. Yeah. Okay, Sydney, Australia. That's cool. Oh, Georgia is also a country. How come it's not popping up in my Google? Georgia, United States, Georgia. What would I? Let me just actually move my. Where? Oh, Georgia. Yeah, I see Georgia right here. It's like right by Turkey. Yeah. Huh. I don't know why it didn't show up when I went on Google or on Google Maps. But okay. New Jersey, USA. How old was I when I got married? I was 20 when I got married. I was very young. What kind of computer? I used to use PC, Mac, and then I switched to PC. And the reason is PC right now is for your bang for your buck. You get so much more of a computer if you're going with PC. So I'm going with PC. But before I switched to Mac, because I wasn't doing very intensive videos. I was doing like more screenshot videos for some other things, and I didn't need a super powerful computer. I liked how quiet the iMac was, and then I grew to love Mac OS. So I still like Mac OS better than Windows, but just for the pure power, PC bang for your buck. That's where it's at right now. Um, have I met any famous Japanese people? I don't think so. I don't meet. No. Let's see. Let's see. Greetings from Montreal. Questions. How do you compare the academic pressure that's put on Japanese students as opposed to Canadian students? Elementary school, I find it's fairly okay. We've talked to a lot of teachers, and they don't seem to have too much pressure on us. And since us as parents, we're not trying to put too much pressure on our kids, I think it's okay. But I do see kids in elementary school, so up until grade 6. So that's kind of getting up to preteen age, so before 13. They go to Juku or cram school. I've seen kids doing that, and I think some parents are very serious about it. For me, I'm more worried. I'm more concerned about my kids just liking to learn and being curious, and also being bilingual. That's I guess our biggest educational concern. So that's what we're focusing on. Okay, let's see. Now I'm getting past all the lag stuff and going down the questions. Lunar New Year. We don't celebrate. I didn't even know it was Lunar New Year, so we didn't celebrate. Sorry. How does it feel to have the only Xbox One in Japan? Oh, come on. There's some more people who have the Xbox One. But yeah, the Xbox One was kind of a not the greatest purchase because the real reason I got the Xbox One is because I wanted to do the fitness programs, and the fitness programs were kind of crappy. Although I still exercise to the Xbox One fitness stuff, but it's like watching a standard definition like DVD is kind of what the fitness programs are. It doesn't matter whether you have the sensor or not. So yeah, but we've been playing some Final Fantasy 15 on it lately, so that's not bad. Ah, you're in Japan now. I see little kids like Shin's age running around on the streets and catching trains. It's awesome. Yeah, I really like seeing kids run around. Um, I like how there's people of all types on the streets, from seniors to the kids. It actually gives me joy just to kind of watch people watch, I guess. Have see people in the parks, people biking around, just doing all sorts of daily activities. I enjoy that about the big city. Or going to the riverbank even where it's not so crowded, or parks, and just see people playing like ultimate frisbee or doing golfing or whatever it is. So many people out and about doing so many different things. I really enjoy that part. Have I ever been to Brazil? No, I haven't. My dad was born in Guyana, so South America, and I grew up in Trinidad. My mom was born in Belize, so I'd like to visit those countries someday. Florida. Okay, cool. How common is it to drink alcohol in Japan? How expensive is it? For example, how much is one beer at a bar or club? I've never been to a club in Japan, so I have no clue. I really don't know. Although I'd like to go to a bar or club one day just to kind of see, what it's like. I've been to like izakaya, which is kind of like a bar, but it's not at all like a club, like you would say in Canada or United States, a club. So I would like to kind of go to a dance club and see what it's like. Um, Although I'm allergic to smoke, so I've kind of generally avoided all those types of areas where there's smoking, and I'm pretty sure dance clubs, most of them, smoking is allowed. Drinking alcohol, though, I would say fairly common, because you can drink on the parks, streets, or anything like that, really. And festivals too, like hanami, like the cherry blossom viewing, or hanabi, I believe, which is the fireworks. Um, you'll see people drinking all the time, so fairly common. Yeah, and it's if you're buying at the convenience store, grocery stores, fairly cheap, like maybe equivalent of, you can buy stuff as cheap as $1 for like a can, up to a couple dollars. Wine seems like You can get bottles for under $10 really easy. I don't know the quality because I don't really drink. I don't drink wine. I don't drink much alcohol. But yeah, cheap, easy. Um, New Year's goals. I don't know. Stay healthy. Try to stay healthy. Make videos people like. Learn more Japanese for sure. Um, how much would a trip cost? You're in China. How much would a trip to Japan cost compared to the US? I have no clue. Google it. That's easy. That's what I would do. Does living in Japan make me happier? I would say yes, because I have more time for my family in Japan. But mine's a unique situation where I work for companies online. I can work from home. I don't think that would necessarily be true for anybody coming to work in Japan. Um, Not sure if this is a question you'll know the answer to, but why are there so many Japanese kids walking around in their uniforms in the middle of the day when you expect them to be in class? In the middle of the day, I mean, I think in the higher levels, they might get spares or they might have lunch, and lunch might not be served in the high schools, so they can go out and do that. So, also, you might be going to other schools for meetups, like some type of sports events or other types of extracurricular events that could be happening. I know on the weekends, I was wondering this because that's Saturday night, I'd see all these kids in uniforms and they'll be doing some type of school-based event where they're traveling to. So that's the answer for that. That's a good question, though. I should ask around. New York, cool. And did I miss one? Oh, what are the big plans for YouTube channel in the future? Um, hmm. Let's see. I might miss some of them, but definitely want to make more mini documentaries. Keep on doing that, and that's a huge goal of mine. I think I might start trying to do some more one-on-one collaborations with people around the world. So, because we've been doing like getting 10 or 15 different video submissions and trying to put them all into one video. But I think I might want to try to do, let's pick one person from one country and see what one aspect of their life is like over there, and then try to compare and contrast it to how it's done in Japan or another country. So try to do those types of videos. I would love to be able to travel to maybe one other country and kind of do a little series of how life is like in another country, stuff like that. Um, okay, ooh, going down the questions. What should I do in Japan when I have a long layover? Um, Something I'm starting to recommend because I don't think people always have it on their itinerary is to go to an onsen or like a public bath, sento, that type of place. I love it, and so if you never tried it, I would definitely try to do it. Very relaxing, I think. So that's what I would do. Do people speak good English in Japan? Uh, I think people in Japan know English more than you would think by speaking to Japanese people, especially vocabulary. They'll know a lot of just single words, I feel. But if you compare it to, say, like people in the European Union, man, I'm so amazed at how well people from, like, the Netherlands or Germany or Spain or Finland or something, or Norway, how good their English is. Like, man, I'm impressed. So nothing close to that level. Um, oh, thanks. You enjoyed the homeless video. Cool. Nice, nice. I have some more explanation video about homeless coming soon. Trilingual, speaking Mandarin, Korean, English, and understand some Japanese. That's really cool. Uh, let's see. China has no Google. Can't Google it, huh? Okay. Hello from Jakarta, Indonesia. Nice. Um, how hard is it to find an IT job in Japan for non-Japanese speaking person? I don't know because I don't have an IT job in Japan. I do work online, kind of like business related stuff, but it's for companies in America and Canada. So I have no clue about working in Japan, or like the how to find jobs in Japan. I have no clue. You meant to check out Kunimoto's shop, but couldn't get the address. Hmm. If you go to the Lifeform website and click on the episode, I believe I put a link to the map on the lifeform.com site. So you should be able to find it. Shouldn't be that hard. And speaking of Kunimoto-san, he recently had a TV show come down to film him, like one of those. If you live in Japan, they have these shows where they kind of go visit local areas. So they visited his shop. So he'll be on TV. So that's kind of cool. I mean, kind of thinking I might do a full follow-up video with him, just what's happened since I made the video about him, and as well combine that with a follow-up video with Tsurumi-san, which is the pizza guy, because he has since gotten a he doesn't have a Michelin star, but he's actually in the Michelin Guide, which is pretty cool. So his pizza is good enough that he's in the Michelin Guide, kind of like maybe an honorable mention or something like that. So that's pretty cool. Seattle, cool. Yes, my wife works, and I think she has a decent job. But I don't talk much more about it because she just wants to be private. So, but yeah, she does work, and yeah, good job, I think. Recycling in Japan. I have a video about recycling in Japan, so you should check that out. I might do a little bit of a follow-up, and this will probably be on the X channel, just showing how I've kind of revised our own family system for recycling. I think it's a lot simpler than what we showed in our video. We got it a little down a bit more, so easier to do. So I might show that on the X channel one day. Am I into the arts and culture scene in Tokyo? I would say no. Although I just went to a photography exhibit that's called Tokyo, and Tokyo, and I really liked going there, but nah, I'm probably not really much in the art scene. Let's see here. Bedrooms around the room. Can that be a video? Bedrooms around the room. Well, we're going to do a house tour, so yeah. What's the next video with the kids? Aiko, I think she wanted to film at the tonkatsu restaurant, so we'll probably do that at some point. And then Shin will talk about a Nintendo DS game, Yokai Watch, and we'll probably show what it's like on the game, like the game world, and then we'll try to visit those places in real life and show what they look like in real life, and kind of show you that the game is really, if you play the game, it does kind of show a lot of what is really like for a kid in Japan too. So I find that quite interesting. How much? So somebody's 20 years old, working hard to move to Japan next 2 years. How much do you need to be making a month to live an average life? Well, I think it's very different from a student from, somebody who's, in their mid-30s with family, how much you need to live, I don't know, average life. I think students, if you make equivalent of, I don't know, somewhere around 1,000 to 1,500 US dollars, you should be pretty okay. But it really depends on how you live. Okay, let's see here. Laziness, procrastination tips about working on video. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I love making videos, but I still have a hard time sometimes working on videos. And I don't know how to get around it quite yet. Like, I feel like I have to be in a certain mood, especially when I'm being, I don't know, creative. Sometimes I don't know if my videos are creative or not. But sometimes you have to be like in the right frame of mind to make a certain type of video, and sometimes I feel like I go at it and I'm like, I'm just not in the right mood to be making this video. Sometimes I try to do other things and come and go and back at it, and sometimes I can just go like really hard at a video for a few days straight. I mean, like everything's just working, and I don't know, but it's, for me, making videos is not for lack of ideas or lack of things to do. Like, I have so many ideas, so that's definitely not a problem for me. Yeah. I do running, and I find every time I go running, I also have so many ideas. Sometimes I stop and write them on my phone, and So I don't know, walking around and running, my mind always like thinks about things and cycles through things. So I'll maybe try that. But yeah, since all my work is kind of self-produced, even like my business work as well, it's all self-directed, self-produced. Um, I find it very hard to just keep on task and do things throughout the day. That's my biggest challenge, is just staying focused on getting the work I need to get done, you know? Um, yeah, let's see here. Have I been to Hokkaido? No, but I want to visit Hokkaido so bad because I love snowboarding and I want to go and hit the fresh powder in Hokkaido. Austria. Oh, cool. Uh, let's see here. Koro ite kudasai. And then I don't know enough kanji to know that. Ni yoroshiku. What is this kanji? Let's check it out. Maybe that's yeah, my kanji, sorry, it's not as good as it should be. Let's see what this kanji is. Freshness. Oh, sendo. Oh, okay. Sendo ni yoroshiku. What time's it here? It's like 10:21. So I think I'm going to go at about 10:30, about another 9 minutes, and then I'll try to get to bed. What made me leave Canada and move to Japan? That's probably a really long answer, but then the simple answer is my wife's Japanese, and when we got married, we always wanted to go back and forth between both countries. And so after over a decade living in Canada, we're like, hey, let's go to Japan. And we really want our kids to be to know both cultures and languages and families. So we wanted to be in both countries. Fan meetup, travel to the States, Canada, somewhere else. I don't know, maybe in Canada. We're planning on going back to Canada in the springtime. So maybe. I don't know, it's kind of really awkward to meet up with people, especially many people. One-on-one, I'm fine meeting up with people, but many people, I just kind of don't know how to act. It's very nerve-wracking for me. I'm not a naturally outgoing person. So yeah. I was thinking for the States, since I might be in Canada at the time that they have the VidCon, I'm kind of really interested in going to VidCon. So I was thinking if I can find I don't know, a cheap flight or a place to stay out in wherever VidCon is. I don't even know where it is. This is in Los Angeles. I try to hit up VidCon. It's expensive to live in Japan. I'll make a video about that. Yeah. Let's see here. So many questions. YouTubers that inspire me. I think probably number one is Natalie Tran Community Channel, because she's been doing it for so long, and I feel the quality of her videos are always great, and she's so still creative. And sometimes she'll, kind of go off for like a few months and not produce a video, but then she'll go back and produce videos, and it feels to me like she does it for the love of creating videos. She just really loves the craft of it, and she has something to say always. I love her observations. So to have that longevity and still be into it after so long, and I feel like I mean, obviously she makes money doing it, but I don't think that's her core reason for making the videos. And so I'm impressed with that. YouTubers like the Vlogbrothers, I really love what they do with the videos. MKBHD, just his quality of videos, man, his craftsmanship, man, he's so awesome. I love MKBHD. Even if I don't buy any of the tech that he's talking about, I just love I love learning about tech, and I love his videos. Wong Fu, man, they're so creative what they do at Wong Fu and how far they've come in the past 10 years. And they recently have something that on YouTube Red, Single by 30. I really liked that series on YouTube Red. I don't have YouTube Red in Japan or in Canada, so I had to buy each episode individually. I paid for them all because I want to support them, but I really liked their videos. So those are some of inspirations for YouTubers that got me into wanting to make videos on YouTube. Oh, so many comments now. I'm never gonna get through them all. Russia, this is cool. Russia, that's nice to see. From Japanese wedding video. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to do a Japanese wedding video. Yeah. Alma Mater, did you study filmmaking or equivalent course? I did exactly one course in filmmaking. And by the time I took that course, I had already been making videos for a year or two or something. And I found that, oh, I felt like I didn't need to pay money to take more film and courses. And I knew people who graduated from very expensive programs in Canada. We'd pay like $50,000 to go for a year or two in school. And I hired these people, and I was like, I don't want to be rude, but like I guess I had a few years of experience on them, and like I knew more than these people. I was hoping that they would start teaching me things, but I realized that with filming, as long as you're, I mean, continuing to try to improve your craft and learn from other people and read up about things, watch other videos about how it's done, read articles. You can learn a lot just by doing and working with other people. Actually, is a huge thing. So if you work with other videographers and stuff and share tips, you learn a lot. So I don't think you need to have an official degree in order to make videos. Um, yeah. Oh, where am I now? Where's the breakfast for where I'm from video? Yeah, I'll do that soon enough. It might be another month, sorry, but I'll definitely do it. Anaheim. Okay, that's where it's near Anaheim. Okay, cool. Hawaii. I might stop by Hawaii one day if I can catch a flight on the way to, Canada, drop over in Hawaii. Uh, do I miss Canadian US stuff that's not sold in Japan? Not as much anymore because there's a Costco which we can drive to. Not exactly close by, but take a drive for an hour and go to Costco and pick up some stuff. So I can get some of those things there. Like cheese. You can get cheese in Japan, but you can just get cheaper cheese and variety of cheese at Costco so easily. So I always pick up cheese at Costco. Uh, do I have Japanese friends? Yeah, I have some Japanese friends. But the Japanese friends I know usually speak English quite well, so I speak some Japanese with them. But um, yeah, they're we usually end up speaking English more than Japanese. Film club. Yeah, there's some meetups in Japan where they watch movies. I was always thinking about going to some of the meetups and doing that. And sometimes I go to Instagrams where we, take photos and stuff. So I do those meetups. I haven't been for a long time though. I keep on meaning to go, but I always seem to have something at the same time they do the meetups. So I guess do some arts things in that way. Indonesia, cool. Atlanta, Georgia, Arizona. Oh, I've made it down to the list of comments. Cool. Do the kids play sports? They do swim. That's the big sport they do besides the sport they do in school. Uh, Football, you mean soccer uniforms? Especially today's Sunday. I don't know if I wonder if I've seen rugby. I don't know if I've ever seen football being played officially. Um, Soccer, I think I want to know the stats on this, but I think soccer is actually more popular than baseball. Although I seem to see baseball played a lot more than soccer, but uh, I would like to do some videos about sports. Oh, soccer. No, it's not your bad. Yeah, football is. I think outside of United States, so football is the word used for soccer, right? Um, yeah. Let's see here. Okay, it's almost maybe two more questions here. Are Japanese electronic brand product cheaper in Japan? Um, I think it just depends on the product. Because I end up for camera equipment, I end up buying some stuff in Japan and some stuff from the States or from Canada. Just depends on what's cheaper or what's available. So it really depends. I don't necessarily think they're significantly cheaper for certain things. Um, yeah, Israel. Okay, cool. Am I going to live in Japan for the rest of the life? I think I've answered this quite a few times, and the answer is we'll probably kind of go back between Japan and Canada. Poland, no, never been. And okay, let me scroll on one last question here. Uh, let's see. You didn't notice any grammatical error in my last video, so English is good. I have one stats error that I want to correct. I might make a video in the next couple of days, and that's the what is the error? It's the median family income. So for Japan, it's accurate, but for America and Canada, I used a PPP stat, which is purchase parity power. I believe that's what it stands for. And so I guess the stat was right, but it's a kind of a subsection of the stat or something like that. So I think the real stat I should have used would have shown that United States and Canada, the income is actually higher than the median income that I put in the video. So I want to make a video, correcting that and talking about that. So I think I'll do that. And actually, I think there was a grammatical error. Somebody pointed it out to me. I can't remember where, but I always make one. Do I think Japan will tighten immigration policy? That's an interesting question. I think the immigration policy is a lot looser than people think it is, and I have a video talking about that. I don't think they're going to do anything about immigration based on Trump. Yeah. Anyways, it's about 10:30. I should get to 10:30. I don't even know what time is it. Oh, it's 11:30 at night. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I woke up just for this because I actually fell asleep earlier. So it's 11:30 at night. I'm going to get to bed. Thank you so much for everyone for watching and for the support. Yeah. All right. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.